So welcome to a parking lot, everybody. I told you I'd take you to weird spots around town. This place used to be something. For all you communication device people, again, Ouija board, digital word list, and spirit boxes. This is where I start withholding information on purpose, so you guys aren't looking for certain things. I will not be giving you questions here like what color was George Washington's white horse, like what we did with the big red barn, so you guys have that kind of train of thought. So kind of keep in mind with, of course, I give the smallest camera to the tallest guy. We got people walking by. Normally I just say go down to the belly shot. We have people walking by, especially tall guys like him. Who brought this guy? Oh yeah, it was him. Yeah, that's right. He brought the rest of you. So this space used to be relevant to the history of Charleston, which is exactly why we're here. So some of this history, based on the age group that we have, I may breeze through some of it so you guys can actually get to work. I know history can be long, and I don't want these guys to feel like they're not on vacation and that's cool. So let's kind of get to it. This place used to be the Charles and Eliza Pinckney Mansion. Their mansion used to sit in the front of the space facing East Bay Street. Eliza's garden was lined up with Five Church Restaurant and came all the way across. We are standing in the servant and slave quarters for the home. That's the layout of the land. So who the hell were these people? Charles and Eliza had a son named Charles, and they had a nephew named Charles. That's 3 Chucks, in case nobody was paying attention. That's exactly why we look for secondary clues, so I know which Charles is here, and that way we know how to address him appropriately. Hopefully you guys are seeing the point on that. The son and the nephew were signers of the Constitution for South Carolina. Big deal for us, but I hate politics more than all of you combined. We're gonna move on. If I do not give those gentlemen that recognition, they will do it for me in a spirit box in a very nasty manner, and you guys don't need to hear their tone of voice when they do that. So, I need to give them that recognition, and we move on to Eliza. She has a much better story anyway. Eliza married Charles at a young age according to today's standards. If you're going to ask her how old she was when she got married, do not expect numbers from the colonial days that she came from, like 12 and 14, when young ladies got married. Think of today's standards. Reason why? The husband was over double her age when they married. I'm giving you guys some clues of what to look for if you guys haven't picked up on that. Now, she married him because her father was over in England, where they're from. Her father thinks he's dying, trying to bring all of his kids home one last time. Eliza didn't believe he was dying, so she stayed put right here and got married. It's 1744. You don't get married in that year to get a green card. We're not a country yet, so it wasn't a thing. She married him out of true love. This is a true love story, believe it or not. There's nothing horrific about this location, which is part of the reason why we start off our night here. Now, try to be respectful when we do separate, just so you know, because all activity will stop if you are not respectful to Miss Eliza. She's a prominent English woman. Back to Eliza. She was correct. Dad did not die right away, and instead he starts sending her gifts from England to where you're standing. One of those gifts happens to be the plant seeds of indigo. That's a plant that makes blue dye, that makes your blue jeans blue. Only one person is wearing it here tonight, just so you guys know. Good job, Maya. Way to give me the example. But when she got her seeds, she didn't know what to do with it because it's not always hot here. She had to learn how to keep it going. So she learned it from the slaves, learned how to make the dye, moved it to a cash crop, got a hold of her dad overseas and told him that the rice plantations are going downhill, and we now have an international businesswoman during colonial times. It's something absolutely unheard of. That's the boring business stuff of Eliza. Let's get into the weird shit, because that's why you guys are all here. So, with all the spirit boxes, I'm going to give you guys a set of focus questions. You need to say these things out loud or just focus on them. There's no right or wrong way to do this. So we are going to work with, let's kind of start off things nice and simple. So, KINZIE. KINZIE
Yep.
and, no, Kinley.
Sorry, Lily 3.
Lily 3, get back in line. So, Kinley and ERIKA, you guys are going to have the same set of questions simply because Eliza that I just told you about is the second wife named Eliza from Charles back to back. You're going to be looking for Eliza's full initials. They both have the same set of initials. ELP. Let me know if you see those letters in that order. You're going to be looking for the maiden name because the first wife named Eliza also had a maiden name that started with the letter L. I'm not going to tell you what either one of those are, so hopefully you're going to be able to find out by using the device that you're using. So Tony, you're going to be up next. Your spirit box likes to give us 1 to 2 syllables at a time. The mansion's not here anymore. In fact, there's a bunch of SUVs and trucks where it used to sit. You can ask Eliza what happened to it. If you get the what, you'll often get the when. That means the date. 2 or 3 numbers out of the date. So very specific numbers. The 2 red spirit boxes. So that would be Miss Berlin and Maya. You guys are going to have the same set of questions as well, based on the type of spirit boxes that you have. Your spirit boxes, you can ask her about her death. So that's where things really open up for the type of spirit box that you have. The 4 major things that we get answers to. How did you die? How old were you when you died? Where are you buried? Which president was a pallbearer at your funeral? Do you know what the pallbearer is, Berlin? Okay, so a funeral. A people that carry the coffin to the grave, they're called pallbearers. Okay? So a president did that for Miss Eliza. So very important lady. So I think I've got everybody covered on all of the questionnaires, so that's good. We are going to spread out. We're going to stay away from the vehicles as much as possible, especially those of you with cameras. Please do not go in between vehicles. People get really weirded out when we're here. I'll do 1 or 2 round robins with everybody to kind of see what's going on with your devices, take a few notes, and then I'll round us up back here and give you all of the answers. Let's see, who do I need to keep behind? So the 2 lilies, I need to kind of show you a little bit more about that EMF. Have you had any numbers out of that?
Yeah.
What numbers did you get?
2.6.
Okay, so we have a 2.6. Now you're not going to give me anything below that, so you're going to keep it going up. Lily number 2, did you get anything out of yours? You also had a 2.6. Okay, that's good. So that's good to know. All right, guys, let's spread out. I'm going to keep Kinley behind now, so I can show her how to operate that thing a little bit further. Again, everybody spread out. Tony, go ahead and get unmuted. Let's get to work, everybody.
Wait,
You guys
so
watch.
what were the questions?
I knew you were going to do that. So, you're gonna be
How did you
asking us-
die?
Yep.
When did you die? What president was one of the pallbearers at your funeral?
How old were you when you died?
I was just saying, where were you buried?
Yeah, where are you buried?
Where are you buried?
Do I have questions?
No, you're going to
Okay.
be hanging out with her.
Okay.
Wait. All
Mason's not
right.
here. What happened to her? When did it happen?
How did you die?
Hip fracture. That was one thing that I got.
All right.
Okay.
We got a hip fracture.
Where were you buried? How old were you when you died? want you to help very clearly. And there's been
Like what?
I don't know. And then when I said, how old were you when you died the first time, there was like a child's laugh.
Cute.
Yeah. And then the hip fracture. But those are probably the only things that like have come through that I could actually like decipher.
Most of it won't stick if you're really good at this. But everyone, 40 to 50% of the time, something's going to stick to somebody trying to tell us something.
Okay.
Kind of how this goes. But yeah, am I focused on one person and one thing? Focused on not necessarily. Nothing from nothing from this thing. That's the top. Yeah, nothing.
You use the word haunting, it doesn't necessarily mean that it's something negative, it just means that there's
I never look at a hunter. Never. I'm not that person.
or something scary.
Right. I don't find it scary at all.
So where's your personal viewpoint like on the afterlife, like soul versus ghost? So you see it all as the same thing, or
So
how do
that's
you
part of the reason why I
interpret
do
all?
this. None of us.
Where are you going?
But it's all scientific. I need more science. Question a lot of people say I would rely on
Come over here.
I just got 4 numbers. 4, 3, 5,
4, 3, 5, 6, 9.
6, 9. 5 numbers. 4, 3, 5, 6, 9. 32.
It's too many numbers.
I don't know. I got no numbers.
Tell them
and
to pick
now-
less numbers.
What?
Tell them to pick less numbers.
I know. I had no numbers this entire time, and then I got a bunch of them. What did I say it was? I need your help, or I want your help?
Yeah.
and that's exactly what I do.
I just got construction.
Mm.
Yeah, that's very cool. Yeah. And I guess you're always getting used
3, 3 now I just got. I'm now getting
Three.
too
Lots of
many
threes.
numbers.
And it just would just work best in a historical area versus like, you know, if you could just come to my town and you play arena and do this and I'll find something. But is there more stuff that people can just go to?
It's about the reason why. You know, there's, it doesn't, like, it's not about McDonald's.
Oh, nice. Okay. Oh, the Jets.
second was at your funeral.
All right. That's a code word.
Staying alive just popped up. Staying alive?
Fractured a hip, but we're staying alive.
What?
Fractured a hip, but we're staying alive. Fractured a hip, but we're staying alive.
I like the fact that you're hanging around with somebody with a camera because that thing doesn't record. So if you miss something, it's going to be on the audio from this camera. Maya, have you heard anything? Have you heard anything?
I've heard a couple things.
Like what?
So I was asking about how they died. Fractured hip came up immediately. And then I didn't hear any numbers, and then I started asking like for a while, and I kept asking how old were you when you died? And then I got 32 and 33, like within a minute of each other. And then when you were talking earlier, I got mentioned Tommy and my family.
Okay, I want you to keep in fractured hip and tongue in the back of your brain, okay? Keep it going. You got this. All right, Berlin, what do you got?
Maya.
How did you fracture your hip?
Tim, have you seen anything? Nothing out of the ordinary?
Nothing that's plus minus 15.
Oh, I forgot to say, and then when I asked where are you buried, they said construction. Should I say that?
Yeah.
You guys are going to be able to watch it on your TV. So if I'm calling these communication races and they're making work, videography is not always the most exciting job out there, but I also didn't have a board of education. So feel free to intermingle your devices if you want to do this. We're a large party helping you. How's our word list coming? Now look at that as drinks. We're still near the bar.
I had one more thing.
What you
When
got?
I said, where are you buried? Construction. That was another thing that I had.
All right, I think it's time for us to regroup. I'm pretty excited. It's not piling too much. Let's bring everybody to the back.
See, that's when you're busy, but I can't even.
All right. Actually, have we gotten any number? What do we get?
You need them.
Terrified.
So I'm excited about the name Tommy that showed up and the phrase fractured hip. The number 27 and the number 11. By the way, if you have a camera, keep your hands on brake, hit the stop button. Skeptics over there? So, Tommy, what do you got? You hear anything?
There was music coming out, and I was asking, "Are you singing? Can you tell me a story?" And then like more music was playing.
I can kind of see where you're going with that, but I won't worry.
Yeah, it wasn't. I couldn't barely make out a word.
Understood. But
I got it typed dangerous, and then right before we turned left down this alley, I got left.
I get a lot of directional, like turn here kind of stuff when we're kind of entering all this.
Yeah.
So, this is the ghost that gives us the color purple, by the way. What are the last 2 or 3 terms you got on your list?
Confident, motivated.
Where did you get beat? Was that closer back there?
It was as we're walking in the here.
Okay, got it. Philadelphia alley. Remember, we're going to be in here, I'm going to stir things up, and we're going to get the hell out of Dodge. So here's how this goes. They're all telling the same story. I'm just going to give you a few extra details because you're both hunting. She's a campfire marshmallow first stores on the side of the house, right? So here's how it goes. They're all telling the same deal. A doctor was down here from Rhode Island. His name is Dr. Joseph Brown Ladd. For those of you listening to Spirit Boxes right now, if you hear the song Brown Eyed Girl, it's not coincidence. We get it here all the time because it's part of his name. So kind of keep that in mind. Yeah, yes.
How does that song go?
Brown Eyed Girl. Brown Eyed Girl.
Oh, okay. I was just making sure.
Yours? Yeah.
I couldn't find anywhere to hide.
Anyway, Dr. Ladd moves here because he's supposed to get married to his fiancée, Amanda. Amanda just inherited a lot of money from her dead parents. She has an attorney helping her out with all of this cash that she just got. The attorney thinks that Dr. Ladd is just after Amanda's money. So he tells Amanda to get rid of the doctor. He comes to Charleston from Rhode Island to prove that he's not after Amanda's money. So on his way into town, he actually had a coachman, kind of like an Uber. And that coachman set him up to be robbed and killed. It wasn't a very good start to his stay here. So somebody walking by, his name was Ralph Isaacs. I'm going to stop there. Ralph Isaacs has the same initials as where the doctor came from.
That was
Rhode
a rat.
Island, Ralph Isaacs. What'd you get?
A rat.
Oh, that's Remy.
Oh, he's good?
He works here.
Okay.
He works here.
His name's Remy. Oh my god, it's Remy.
Why do you think I named him? So now you're not afraid of him. See how that works? So he's going to make us dinner.
Well, I said it so that we know when we see something on here, we know it's him.
Yeah.
That way it's not.
It was all audio for you?
Sure.
Like you're just giving us markers?
Yep.
Got it.
There you go.
So, back to Ralph Isaacs. The reason why I have Kinley's device, no. Am I getting it right?
Yeah.
Okay. This is good.
I'll just.
Like hiding. The reason why I got Kinley's device is because we were getting the letters RI all the time on the red spear boxes. I wanted that to verify. So those are the letters you're looking for in that order of RI. So usually when I bring up Ralph's name, it's when we usually get it. But anyway, back to Ralph. He tells Doc, I know this guy, coachman, he's going to try to kill you. Come with me to 59 Church Street. I have friends that live there, and you can rent a room from them and be safe. Doc took him up on the offer. The two gentlemen became friends. The longer the doctor stays here, the more money he's making. He's proving his point. He's not after Amanda's money. So yeah, that's pretty crazy. So Amanda gets wind of this because Doc's making his own cash, and she's moving down so they can be married. Dr. Ladd then became known as the Whistling Doctor. This is the main reason why I hate this location, because I hate cliches. Every haunted city you will ever visit in the future always has a haunted ghost. That's kind of how this goes. But ours just happens to be a doctor, and there is some legitimacy to this. We're not talking about it. Moving on. The reason why we're in Jeweler's Alley, because that's what this was called back then. Dr. Ladd and Ralph go see plays together. They can't sit next to each other because the doctor makes more money. That's the hierarchy of Charleston. He gets better seats just because he makes more money. So on the way home from seeing Richard III, they are arguing over the actress they just saw. Dr. Ladd thought she was great. Ralph didn't. Then he starts insulting the doctor's fiance, Amanda, back home in Rhode Island. They got really ugly, and they went their separate ways. Ralph has friends around town, and he goes to the newspaper. He puts an ad in the paper telling the whole city of Charleston what he thinks of the doctor. Kind of like, you're a disgrace to society kind of stuff. Doc saw that ad and rebutted with, let's go to Jeweler's Alley. Someone's going to die. I'm tired of this. So they came down here. By the way, keep in mind, this whole argument started over an actress, all pretty dumb. They came down, back to back, took the 10 paces away from each other. They turned, the doctor pointed his gun in the air and shot. He didn't want to kill his friend. He just wanted the courage to show up to the fight. Ralph has his one bullet still. He puts it in the kneecap on the doctor. To prove his point, he's still pissed off at the doctor. He didn't want to kill him either, but he fell to the ground. His friends picked him up and took him home to 59 Church Street, where he died 10 days later, November 2nd, 1786, after refusing medical treatment. And I point out two things. First off, it's 1786. Gunshot wounds back then, a lot different than what they are now. Secondly, he's a doctor. He probably just thought he had lead poisoning. He tried to bleed it out himself, but obviously he failed because he died. Now, every one of these toys that's down here is telling their guests to listen for the whistles. We have 3 cameras running plus my voice recorder. If we're going to capture a disembodied whistle, more than likely it's going to come up on one of those 4 devices. Not to mention, we have caught the whistling parts of songs on your spirit boxes and the word doctor from a commercial immediately after. Doctor, we get it all the time. So again, I can't tell you how many times that's actually occurred. And this guy actually likes to follow me around. He's going to show up again at our last location. So I like to bleed over to the next stop, and then at our last location, he shows up again. And you're going to see some of those clues like you and I were talking about, Erica, of like how we know who's actually there. So again, I don't look for him there. He just likes to like poke his head in. This guy's story is being told like, for the past 50 years. I'm the only one that talks back to him, and he can communicate with us as well, obviously with all the devices that you're using. So, if you're going to try this on your own and walk all the way through this alley, this is your guys' first day here. And you're going to use the voice recorders from your phones, because I can't take you all the way to the end. I'm going to explain how they kicked out of here. That's actually the fun part of the story, by the way. See if he got me. But anyway, so just remember, every local knows this story. Even during the daytime, anybody walking up and down Cumberland or Queen Street, we all throw a whistle down this alley. We all do it. Just got to keep that in mind. So let's talk about how I actually got thrown down, because I always throw a whistle down this alley whenever I pass it, especially since I got moved out of here. Someone's like, don't say that story, that's it. Basically, between us and Cumberland Street, there used to be a wall. The reason why is because this used to be called Cow Alley. This is where they kept the livestock in the city of Charleston. They had to keep them penned in. So cows, chickens, and goats were down there. So what does that mean for you guys and why I'm actually down? I used to take my group all the way to the end to show off the sun-dried bricks that are down there from slave children. I say showing it off, there's a history piece, so there's nothing paranormal about it. Because again, you guys know how I feel about cemeteries and history. The kid's not there staring at that brick with his handprint in it. That's what's actually down there. No handprint in the slave pit. Took my group down there November 26th of 2020. We're going to let this group pass through. You're good, you're good. So I took them down there, and all 10 of them, same size as you guys, was huddled around that brick, waiting for something to happen. I know nothing's going to happen because that kid's not there. Well, I'm also trying to be respectful because we're outside the kitchen window of the beautiful mansion at the end of the alley. The new owner of that mansion came out screaming. My daughter, who's probably around your guys' age at the time, thought it was hysterical because her father's getting yelled at. So we just moved on. The next day was Thanksgiving. I told on Thanksgiving simply because I used to work for Walmart for over 10 years in upper management, and you all like to fight over towels on Thanksgiving, and I've started moving for life. So I don't work on Thanksgiving anymore. And the next day was the 28th. I called my partner that I had at the time, told him what happened with the neighbor. He laughed at me just like my daughter did and said, dude, you're only allowed to go down halfway, which is about where that tour group is right now. Simply because it's residential after that. You gotta reroute your group. So I told my group that night, I don't believe in the next story because I'm into vampires, not pirates. Obviously we're talking about pirates next, in case you didn't pick up on that. I also didn't tell them which pirates we were going to be discussing. So before we left, somebody with a spirit box heard the name Anne. I didn't tell them it was going to be a female pirate, Anne Bonnie, that we were going to be looking for. So I was kind of like, okay, maybe we'll get something. Take them around the corner, told them what I knew about pirates in Charleston. Somebody else heard the number 300 coming out of their spirit box. I didn't know what it meant. I wrote it down. We were there November 28th of 2020. Anne Bonnie's trial for piracy was November 28th of 1720. We were there on the exact 300th anniversary of her pirate trial. Let's let this very large group pass through, and we'll wrap this location up.
Yeah, you're so right. We don't.
My bad. I'm not even joking. Like, that sounds ridiculous. Photo nila.
You know already, like that's a normal size for a ghost story. Like, people that are
Why is this story so memorable? I mean, a couple of guys pissed at each other and then it's
just we can prove it. All the other girls that are down here, schooling was illegal. I can't find any stories.
what makes it so fascinating?
13,000.
The whistles.
Who's doing the whistle?
The doctor. Because he became known as the whistling doctor after he found out his fiance was moving down. It's the 1780s. So men whistled back then when they were jovial people. So again, it is something that we can simply prove that it actually occurred. It's really the only reason why. Like, there's plenty of other
You're good. I was over there taking pictures and I got my phone, so I was looking for
I think your group went that
Yeah,
way.
your group's up there. You're fine.
Sorry.
Again, the jumpy one over there.
I drink a lot of
Give her the most
caffeine, okay?
expensive camera, everybody, just so everybody knows. So since we've been here, have we heard anything crazy on our spirit boxes? Seen anything? What do we got going on? Before we go talking about some rated R pirates. Of course, now that we finally got a full view of the alleyway. We got
I got WTF on mine.
WTF. Pretty sure 1700s ghosts don't know our acronyms that we have today.
I got 1300, but that's
13. I like the number 13 out of that, just because again, your spirit box is slowed down. Might pick up a word or two before. You always have to look for those keywords. Glenn, you got anything?
What?
Did you? She's never paying
I was
attention.
listening. I guess coaches.
Did you get anything?
No.
Okay. And what are our last 3 or 4 terms since we've been here?
Fee, strategic, sentiment, pencil.
Nothing.
Christopher and Karen were on there for a while. Does that mean anything?
No. Not to me, it
Nobody you
doesn't.
know? Okay.
Names and numbers usually don't lie though, so any name that pops up, I definitely dive into it because we are near a cemetery. Which, by the way, before we leave the space, let's move down a little bit. I want to show you this gate.
I'm just trying to find the honeysuckles. Smell them. That's not a
You have
honeysuckle.
some over there, and then you have some hanging off the fence. It's intermixed in put your name inside. It's like I smell all the time because this is normally where I stand, but that other tour was like right here, so I was trying not to interrupt them. But it's all along the fence, and we also have an anise tree in here. So like kind of like what they make black licorice out of.
Okay.
So
This
that's
is really beautiful.
yeah, it is gorgeous. It is one of my favorite spots. Right here. The gate. I also like to point out this gate specifically because it told you the history of this location, of it being Cow Alley, where there's a wall right about where that group is standing. So if there's a loser to the duel down there, this was the shortcut to get to the cemetery on the other side of this wall. Otherwise, they have to go all the way down to Queen Street and then double back with a dead body, which is obviously very heavy, before they can go celebrate the winner with the pint. The wrought iron that you see on this gate actually wasn't here. It was probably put here in the early 1900s, but you can see that the archway above it is actually part of the original wall. I think I was starting to get into, like, there are plenty of other duels that are alleged that occurred down here, including from other presidents and vice presidents. However, those kind of things are normally hidden out of their history. I was just walking through here. Once I walked somebody home, I think I was telling you young ladies, I walked somebody back to their Airbnb, and I cut through the alley because I wanted to look for some of the bullet holes. Of course, it's like midnight, and I don't give a shit. There's nobody else down here. So I'm taking pictures of bricks that actually look like they're holes going in at a bullet angle. So again, if you walk through this alley, you can find them. You just got to dig for it. Do we know where the bullets came from specifically? We don't. So that's part of the reason why this is such the fascinating story with this particular location, is because we can prove that this duel actually occurred. So Dr. Ladd was only 22 years old when he passed away, by the way. So again, if anybody hears the number 22, that will pop up from time to time. We ready to learn about some crazy pirates?
Yeah.
Maya, did you get anything else? Okay. Well, you guys see what I'm going to do.
How old did you have to be like a doctor back then? Because
I know, it doesn't seem like he was very old, does it?
yeah.
Who knows? He probably started his apprenticeship when he was probably like 15 or 16 years old. You have to remember the times. Like, they didn't have the schooling that we have now. So he probably showed some promise when he was in what we would call elementary school, and probably advanced him very quickly just because of his knowledge. But yeah, he probably started underneath another doctor when he was probably 15 or 16, just learning. He didn't want to do anything. He was just obviously apprenticing. So, but yeah, that's pretty young. You're absolutely right. Good call. All right, rated R Pirates. Let's go. Nobody got my dad joke, by the way. I said it 3 times. Now I have to advance it. So if the letter R is not a pirate's favorite letter, what is it?
The C.
It must be the C. Thank you. Oh, thank God. Good job. One night somebody said it must be I. I'm like, no. It's
I got Wendy favorite beautiful, like one after another.
favorite beautiful.
And Mr. Brightside.
And Mr. Brightside started playing, and then I got John was another name that came up.
Jillian, did you get anything? Not listening. Tony, did you get anything out of yours?
I don't know. Just now it sounded like it said die.
Diamond.
Like die or dyers or something.
Did you get anything?
Just like the word rap. Just it. Like,
Last couple of words.
Bear, like the animal, wolf, and wild.
Interesting. So ladies, with the EMF meters, I get excited about 2.5s in this location. We don't normally see a whole lot of anything, so actually you should be reading flat zeros, which is the norm. So if you do get a 2.5, I'm stoked. Just keep in mind that there are parking meters on the other side of those bushes and 2 lowered transformers on the corners that will give off a little bit as you get closer up there. So kind of keep that in mind. Normally it's along the back half if I get excited. We are here simply because, who was asking me, is that really a church? That is not a church. She made a good point because those do look like crosses on the building. Am I correct? Those are not crosses. They're earthquake bolts. That is the gunpowder magazine. It held gunpowder for 7 different wars and 1 rebellion. The crosses that you see are earthquake bolts, and basically, if you're not familiar with those because you haven't been on another tour yet here in Charleston, they're turnbuckles. So it looks just like that on the other side. If we have another earthquake, like what we did in 1886 that I mentioned earlier, you tighten them so the building gets tighter and it doesn't incur any further damage. It's a great idea,
Smartest thing ever.
but it doesn't work. It's actually pretty stupid. California usually laugh at me, just so you know. No, it's a good point. I normally say it doesn't work. You guys have seen them all over town already, by the way. Most of our buildings down here have them. Even the apartment building behind here has them on every single floor, just in a different format. The reason I point out the crosses, because it's part of the reason why we're here. Those are the first set of earthquake bolts that Charleston ever put in. The reason why is that's the oldest government building in South Carolina. It was finished in 1713. We're here simply because that building was being constructed at the same time that Anne Bonny was coming here to start a new life. This is what I call a familiar. For those of you that watch TV shows and all the YouTubers, they use a new device called a Boo Buddy. It's basically a teddy bear with that little blinky light device that I pulled out earlier, and they do that to try to attract the child ghost to it because they would recognize it as a toy. Think of that concept with this building. So we don't have many buildings this old. Hopefully we're here at the same time that Anne is. Again, we do have some other buildings, and it's a roll of the dice that she'll be here at the same time as us. That's why we look for the bleed over from Dr. Ladd as well. So the building took 10 years to build. Does that sound like our government adults? 10 years, small building? You guys get the point from our government. It's kind of a joke and nobody got it. So she's looking at me like, what?
No, I'm watching my kid who just said something.
It like spiked up. I don't know if like I moved it weird or something.
Did you like jerk it? Okay, then we have a 5.5. That'd be the only other way that it would probably go up that high. So I'll definitely be writing that one down. And you can just interrupt me when you guys get numbers like this, by the way. So again, especially at this location, because we're not going to see much. So if you get something, just interrupt me. I'm good with it. So
yeah, I totally blanked on everything you just said because I was watching her.
So the building took 10 years to build. Our history begins right in the middle of its construction. I will slow down on a twist, but I will breeze through everything because there's a lot going on here, and you guys actually want to get back to work. I can see it in everybody's eyes. So 1708, a young lady moves here from Ireland. Her name is Anne Cormac. She comes here with her father, his mistress. The mistress is Anne's mother.
I got
What'd you get?
Vampire by Olivia Rodrigo. I got
Bloodsucker.
True Love. And then I got...
You told me it was True Love.
Uh-huh. That was, but at a different point in time. And then I got Backstab. Black. And then Noah Khan popped up for a second as well.
Whee! Whee!
Breathing. Now. And breathing. And help.
Why do you need help?
was a vice president. So I want to say he was up for president, presidency before that. So before the sixth presidential election, he was the vice president. You have some ways. You have some ways. All right, Maya, what do we got?
Not too much, but I got Backstab, True Love, and then I had several songs come through. One of them is Vampire by Olivia Rodrigo, and then
So
I
what
had
was the lyric?
Bloodsucker, and then there was
And I had that Eaten Alive a little bit ago.
and then there was a Noah Khan song that popped in for a second, and I don't remember what the lyric was.
Not the lyric, not the words.
Yep.
Anything weird coming out of yours?
Nope.
Tim? Nothing.
Constant.
Tony?
I forgot the number. It said a number and I forgot the number now. It was either 8. My pleasure. It was 8 or 48. 83. But then 7 keeps popping in my head.
No, I have a hard time hearing.
I also thought I heard. Oh, yeah. He's not very good at
They're
listening.
just so fast, and it's so sporadic and fast. But we heard now.
We did hear
but
now. We heard.
She thought she heard.
I thought I
Help Me.
heard "Help Me" and "Breathe."
Okay.
And then I asked if you were on a ship, and it got really busy, but it was also very sad.
I'm not much of a mechanic.
Too sweet.
I got Lap, Rope, and Auburn. That's it.
What were you asking
I
me
keep getting Benny in the Jets.
I asked the hair color, and it gave me Rope and Auburn, but it just didn't.
Like a blondish brown. Or reddish
I
brown.
didn't even know.
Any numbers I need to know about, at least? No? Nothing? Nothing high enough? And what do we have as far as the Ouija board? Anything going on
I
there?
got leg and egg.
Leg and egg?
Like,
Rhymes.
Charles.
spirits.
Spirits.
By her. I don't remember who's the volunteer. Wow, nobody's volunteering to help out her land.
I got it.
You might want to just. Oh, there you go. Let me stand behind you. Henry Timrod.
Being there for people.
Henry Timrod, if you're here.
Right? Are we supposed to be starting?
Yes, ma'am.
I can't hear.
Yes.
Winter.
Henry, if we're here, I want something
Never
about
happened in his life.
I want something about your occupation, please. Can you tell us what you did for a living?
Hey, state.
Really good or really bad? Henry? This is Maya
I think you got me.
in Berlin.
Never hear from them again. If you change,
Dr. Ladd, if you're here, you know what the
if
code
you're
word is.
healthy, 4.5. Only one thing I want. Something die.
It's getting a little loud. You might want to get
This
near.
is where he's going. My lord. Settling.
Henry, your occupation.
Get up.
Nice and simple, Henry. Tell us what you did for a living. Why don't you just show us an image? Dr. Ladd, if you're here, give us your code word, please. Dr. Ladd, if you're here, give us your code word.
Ice cream.
That's not it.
Stand by me. Crucifixion.
What word's this?
I don't think you can. A Roman. Ketchup.
How many camera? Did Dr.
Learn more at medical center.
Dr. Ladd come here with you?
Rations.
Stuff. Actions, crucifixion, EVPs. Henry, what's the sound we're
Food
getting
and
out? What's the sound we're getting out of the church right now? Can you give us some lunch what that sound is? We've had the word bells spelled out on the
Good food.
Henry, what sound did we just hear out of the church?
Ways out of the way.
This
I
is
won't
nice.
Revealed to her. It will be revealed to her. I'll take that.
Specifics. No verification. Actually, here. 2 days. 50 doctor.
Take it with me.
I don't like this code word for us to leave the door.
That's lit.
Woodrow Wilson.
Can't go to.
Henry, can you tell us
Spanish.
what? Henry, do you want us to leave?
Apply Jesus.
Henry, if you want us to leave, tell us the code word, please.
Appetizing word.
crucifixion, mortuary school.
It's dark.
Anyway, we're gonna wrap this up since you're not giving us much.
You need to lower the fight. It's really important.
Anyway, so looking for something else to occupation. Severe.
For your storage, you count as Oakley.
Let's secure your address.
Market for my father's name. Health and wellness. Going on.
I don't know the terms.
Right. Close to you.
Just look at what's right. Henry?
Show your appreciation. All virtual.
Will refrain.
You just said
Pressure
right, and then
is-
show your appreciation, and then words were something. I didn't catch what it was.
Looking through.
I'm gonna read a stanza
What are
from your work
all
to
words
show
were
my
framed.
appreciation. And then we're gonna
This
wrap it up.
week.
So if you want to tell us good night, now's the time to do
That
so.
was like a man growling.
No knots in the temple of the fates. God has
I want you to experience this.
all in trouble in her fate.
Boldly.
She waits. Trying.
Just a few.
And it's in our-
Something personal.
We're gonna say good night. Say good night afterwards.
One application. No,
We're gonna need you to tap her. We're gonna transfer. Let's go ahead and tap Berlin out too. Sam, feel free to take that thing off your face. You okay in there, Maya?
I think you have to tap her leg.
Yeah. Alright, let's see this one crazy.
who rubbed my head?
Me. Sorry.
Alright.
Why'd you?
To
We're
tell you
done.
to stop.
When you
Tap.
were rubbing it.
Okay, so it just got really weird with everything you just said right there. So we didn't have a whole lot going on with anybody. You were giving us all this dark. So you gave us like mortuary job and what is happening right now? So I'm gonna show you guys the one image that's been added. Looks like you had two. Oh. The one you probably saw was not a fourth. So everybody kind of get it because I can't make it like super huge. No, you're fine.